All right. Hello. Yes. Welcome to Musicology 101. Please take your seats. We will be taking a broad look over the course of this class at the purpose and place of music in today's society. So I hope that you have already done your reading up to page 228 of the text Paul Griffith's Modern Music and After, because we will be getting right into it with a pop quiz. For attendance, actually, let's go ahead and start with Alexander Lewis. Can you go ahead and define ontology here for me today?
I didn't know there was reading.
Didn't do the reading. Oh, bummer. Well, you can go ahead and show yourself the door. Yes. Brian Lewis, brother, I assume.
Me neither.
Also didn't do the reading. What? I'll just go ahead and define ontology here for you today. Ontology is a branch of metaphysics that studies the nature of being. What is a thing's essence? Let's take this shoe, for example. Why is it the way it is, and how is it the way in which it is, was, and will be? These are the kind of questions that ontology wants us to ask, as well as investigating, their commonalities, classifications, types, such as particulars and universals. Go ahead and actually pass this around for me, yes? And repeatables and non-repeatables. Myself being a non-repeatable being, and that shoe being repeatable, yes. Going on to the next question, who can describe the nature of music in the current society and industry? Let's see, Christine Johnson, actually.
Your shoe is gross.
Yes, and I know about the shoe.
The purpose of music is to help you feel things and face things you wouldn't otherwise.
Good. But I think we should go a little bit deeper. I think we really need to break it down to a fundamental core principle. So write this down. Music is the observed and unobserved harmonic, often rhythmic or melodic propagation of vibrations through a medium. You being the medium, or in some cases air, as you probably have heard the story of if a tree falls in the forest and no one is there to hear it, does it exist? These are the questions that we'll be asking in this class. Music is an amalgamation of many different things. Monetized consumerism, cultural relativism and diversity, celebration, dance, artistry, marketing, engagement, psychoacoustic therapy, if you will. We'll be taking a look at that, as well as your ontological purpose in society as a creator or consumer of music. All right. That's enough of that. While I don't have a doctorate degree in musicology, I do have a lot to say, but we're going to have to step out of the classroom for a sec. Come on. And now, it's time for Silly Songs with Larry. Part of the show where Larry sings a song.
Suno is a way for everybody to experience all of the joys of music, meaning not just background listening to music, but losing yourself in the process of making music, of sharing music, of editing music, of being a much more active participant in music. I like to think we're not making music, we're making musicians.
So that was a podcast with the CEO of Suno AI. Now, a lot of people have been talking about, will the music industry be replaced by AI? Will we still have jobs? And not even just music, art, photography, coding, many different areas of the workforce. Adam Neely and Charles Cornell have been making videos on their take on the future of AI, but they were all dancing around something that I actually wanted to dive a little bit deeper in. And it was actually something that Mikey Schulman himself started to talk about, but I think he's working 100% in the wrong direction with it. As someone with a degree in film scoring and video game music, when he said interactive music, that music should be like the game industry, I actually lit up because I agree with him, but I don't agree with how he's executing that goal. But the thing is, when I talk about interactive music, I'm usually referring to layered music, things that can branch into different melodies dependent on game states, But I was curious what the regular person would think of when I said the words interactive music. So I asked my roommates, all right, what is interactive music?
It's music that you can interact with.
I need you to go deeper than that.
It's music that changes based on things or conditions. Like, for example, there is a fight scene. I don't think it should be the serene music, but we have to change into a battle music of some sort.
Okay, second question. What is the purpose of music?
Ooh. At 10 p.m. of all, yeah, okay. Communication. Communicate feelings, thoughts, emotions.
That you can't otherwise do when speaking?
Sort of.
Sort of. Okay. We'll take it. This is my roommate, Cedric.
Hello.
He's wonderful. He's a director. What do you think of when I say the term interactive music?
Do I hold it? My first thought that came to my mind when I heard interactive music is literally music in a concert venue. Yeah, like when Jacob Collier does his thing with his audience, where he has different sections of the audience to sing different notes.
And I know you just went to a Lady Gaga concert. Love Lady Gaga. Did she interact with her audience?
She did. It was, I think what's amazing is that she interacted the audience beyond music. Like, I think her whole concert felt more than just music. It felt like art, in a sense of like the way that her kind of interactive music, I believe, is more of like an interactive performance. Different elements, different performances would come out from the audience. Like different dancers would pop up out of nowhere. It was like a world building almost. Like her concert felt like an EDM in hell. And I guess that's what she did.
And without any explanation of what I know on game audio, they already started to hit on the point of input causing change. And literally, in my mind, over the last 5 years, this has been the connecting point between the game industry and pop music, because they both actually rely on the same thing: engagement. Going back to my random bit on ontology, Owen actually also hit it on the nail, because music is a form of communication. That is the core fundamental nature of what music is. And yes, there's all that stuff about vibration and propagation and the unobserved and the observed and the repeatable and the unrepeatable. But when you break it down to what most artists really think of it as, it is a form of communication. And getting to know your music theory, the technology behind it, is just like studying grammar, but for music. But the thing with music is that it goes a little bit deeper in a way words just cannot describe. And there is an actual science with the harmonic series and how it actually vibrates through your body. And that's why we love music, because it gets at an emotion that we can't really say. And Cedric even mentioned something that I wanted to go over, which was Jacob Collier's audience choir, where he involves his audience in his music in a way for even people who don't know music theory, don't have a degree in it, can involve themselves and be a part of the music in a way that is life-changing. There is a human aspect of it that we can only really engage with in a live setting. And there's another thing with live music that I actually pointed out in a 30-page thesis I wrote in high school, which was the importance of imperfection. Maybe I'll actually leave this thesis for you to read. And even though my thesis paper is sitting in my parents' basement, probably collecting dust, I actually pulled it back out and read through it. And in that thesis paper, I talk a lot about how recorded music created a standard of perfectionism and took a lot of the humanity out of music. And looking back, it actually aged really well, given how AI can now create perfect songs that lack all soul and purpose. So when you go to a concert, you expect some level of engagement from you as an audience member because there's a real human that you're subconsciously connecting with. And even though there are some professionals that are really good at their music, they aren't necessarily good performers, just like how every good professional isn't necessarily a good teacher. It just takes a level of charisma and skill and performance to be able to deliver a really solid musical performance, as well as effectively engaging with your audience at the same time, whether it's just reaching down and touching the hands of people in the front row, pulling people up onto stage, granting VIP access, meet and greets, etc. I mean, take Tyler, the Creator, for example. Even though I personally have never been to any of his concerts, I always see him on social media where he turns the parts in between songs into little comedy bits and even involves or points people out in the audience. And you can't get that level of engagement by listening to music on Spotify. Also, I switched to Tidal. You should also switch off of Spotify because it's a horrible platform and the company is horrific. But that's the thing. Engagement is the main draw of our society right now. My sister, the psychologist, always says that we are social beings. We thrive off of each other. So creating a community of people that love and celebrate music for the culture, the vibes, to dance, to feel free, that is the purpose of music. But going to concerts, dancing, all of that isn't the only way we can interact with music. Concerts lie in what I like to call conscious engagement. But there's another layer, which is, you guessed it, unconscious engagement.
The thing about video games is that they're interactive, they're engaging, they're rich experiences, they're fun by yourself, they're more fun with your friends. And when I think about what music should be for me, it should be all of those things.
Going back to this podcast, there's a couple points that he made that I fully agree with him on, like how music should be more like the game industry, where it's involving people and giving them a layer of, what's the word? Authority? Not authority. God, what is that word? I don't know what the word was. I think it was authorship, but I'm not really sure. Giving the audience a sense of authorship over what is happening of the medium of music. But here's the thing, music already is interactive. Whether you're going to your favorite artist's concert, you're sitting down to watch Netflix, you're pressing start on your favorite video game, or even just going up the elevator in your apartment. Music is constantly around us, operating off of our input throughout the day, and what people fail to realize is how much it actually affects our mental attitude throughout the day. For example, there were some studies done on grocery stores and clothing retail stores on how the music played in each of those stores directly affected how the customers acted, the speed at which they went through the store, and what products they bought. And we're going to do a little test here to show you exactly what I mean. Now, anyone who's played Mario Kart knows this sense of urgency when you get to the last lap. The game's about to finish, you have to secure your way to the front or get blue shelled at the last second. And that sense of urgency is something that I love with video games because there's a level of subconscious interactivity that pushes you forward. Over the last couple of years, I've had the opportunity to go to a lot of different game conferences, speak with a lot of developers and other creatives in this space about how we can make music more subconsciously interactive with the player. And I've seen some incredible ways that people are doing this. One of them was actually a panel of developers from the game God of War. Games like God of War have gotten to a level of mastery that even surpasses some films. The music, it can loop and transition and emphasize each hit of a fight in real time while maintaining the rhythm and melodic structure. And for anyone who doesn't know the inner workings of everything that's happening, they probably wouldn't even second guess that all of this is directly feeding off of the input of what they're doing in the game. But all of this becomes a core part of your experience, whether you're aware of it or not. And that's the level of interactivity that I think Mikey Schulman wants, but is distracted by money and capitalism. Here's another example. I walked past a booth from Epic Games where they were working in Unreal Engine. They had given people a controller, and they had basically turned it into a drum sampler where the right trigger is a kick, the left trigger is a snare, a hi-hat, etc., etc. And you could sit there and create different loops, and there was a visual aspect of it as well, where it would shift and fluctuate and pop, and it felt very empowering. Even as a musician or a non-musician, I think there was a level of oh, this is actually really cool. I'm doing very simple inputs and it's creating a really cool rhythm. This is what we need when it comes to connecting a non-musician to the music that they love, or enabling education over automated generation. It's like the old saying goes, where you can either give a man water or you could teach him how to build a well. Giving Suno AI into the hands of everyone isn't teaching them music because they're still not directly learning or doing any of the work themselves. It's like if we had a shortage of doctors and we just decided to give out doctorate degrees to any random civilian because, oh, we need more doctors. But no, that would actually create more problems than it would fix, because now you have all of these completely incompetent doctors. That's a problem. And that's what Suno AI is kind of doing. It's just giving people the ability to just make anything without knowing what they're doing or why or have any purpose or reason behind it, because AI doesn't know how to do that. And then what's going to happen, which is already happening, we can see it with coding and the education system right now and the effects of ChatGPT, is that people will actually get dumber at their specialized skill, because that muscle memory of learning something is withering away because it's offloaded onto AI. And people have started to call it de-skilling. And it's not just education system that has been suffering from it, which brings me to my last point. Here's the thing, Mikey. If you haven't already gotten the point, music is already interactive. But you're just saying that people are too lazy to pick up a piano and get good and contribute to music in a meaningful way. But I've taught 5th and 8th graders how to pick up GarageBand, have fun recording themselves and making drum loops with very little guidance. So if they can, so can you. Ultimately, what I see here is a larger problem of our culture, where we are again using technology to make us lazier, lonelier, and dumber than ever. I mean, why invite a friend over when you can just sit here on your computer and make it yourself? Really? Why hire a team of skilled individuals when you can just utilize Claude to make a pipeline and do it all yourself? Really? I mean, have we learned nothing from Black Mirror? I understand that there's going to be a lot of uses and shortcuts with technology like this coming into every workplace imaginable, but when we use it to start replacing human ingenuity, then we get a problem. Multiple problems. But if psychology has taught me anything, it's that we gain nothing from further isolating ourselves amidst these large technological advancements. On top of that, we need to take in mind that we do not live in an ideal world where you can have Suno AI and eat your cake too. We already have people marrying ChatGPT. We really don't need AI bands taking over the top of the chart. Technology should supplement us, not replace us. Humans are able to make the correct ethical decisions where AI focuses on efficiency over the cost of human lives. There's already a lot of studies on this and the safety regulations behind AI as it gets better and better, and a lot of people are stepping down and leaving the building waving red flags.
It's not really enjoyable to make music now. People enjoy
Why did you say
Suno.
that?
It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of practice. You need to get really good at an instrument or really good at a piece of production software. I think the majority of people don't enjoy the majority of the time they spend making music.
If a human made it, even with AI tools, and it's, someone who you can connect to and has a story and put their creative energy into it and had something they were trying to express, but AI helped them in their creative process, it's worth a lot. But without the person effectively signing their name to it and saying this is my thing, we seem to not care.
AI has quote unquote perfect output, but when it comes to art, people will always value the human behind it more, value their intention, their struggle, the labor put behind it, the soul, way more than just the paint on the canvas or the pixels on the screen. So please, to all of the musicians, the artists, the creatives out there, hone your skills. Yes, try to make something as close to perfection as you can, but ground it in something meaningful. And balance that with the technical level of your art. Learn to communicate effectively and powerfully, because your humanity will be the one thing that AI and no one else will be able to replicate. That is what art is for, to communicate, to inspire, to display your own broken, imperfect humanity. This is literally what I made this album back in 2022, To Be Human. It was a recording of orchestral ensembles that were to musically embody what it means to be human. And I've had people tell me that I should have re-recorded some parts because there were little bits and mistakes here and there, but internally I was like, then it wouldn't have hit the mark, because those mistakes are what it means to be human. And no, I'm not going to use sample libraries and things like that to just make it perfect, because then that goes back to what my thesis in high school was saying of how we have lost the humanity of music by creating perfected tracks for us to sell out to whoever. Yes, it was a big portfolio for me, but it was more so a manifestation of everything I knew as a musician. I spent way more time developing the concept of the album over actually writing it, and I thoroughly outlined every single piece and what it means on a very large doc. Attention was about clawing your way to be heard, to get a message out. I told the string players literally to dig into their instruments as if they were taking a serrated blade to their skin. It was a demonstration of martyrdom. Freedom was to be the most unfettered version of yourself, free from oppression, abuse, trauma, fear, all of it. Balance was to mediate all of the chaos in your life and everything swirling around you into a controlled rhythm. And that is what art is supposed to be, a form of expression. AI will never need to express itself the way humans do. It, like any technology, is used as a tool for creativity and communication, not as a source of it. So I'm really thinking that meaning and purpose will start to become expensive in the art community, whether it's music or photography, anything created. And you, the acting agent, will be irreplaceable. So take advantage of this time as AI grows and gets better and we get more and more into the better versions of Will Smith eating spaghetti. And take advantage of your own humanity and create something undeniably human.